Hey guys, welcome back to Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen. Last time, we caught Deoxys on Birth Island by hacking our game again. And this time, we're going to be making our final preparations for a rematch with the Pokemon League. When we return, they're going to have much higher leveled Pokemon than before. So we're going to want to bring our best. At this point, many trainers we previously battled have higher leveled Pokemon because we just passed the 5th threshold for them getting new Pokemon. We are going to be doing what we did after we beat the Pokemon League for the first time again, going through every area we've been to, and fighting every trainer that has new Pokemon. Before we do that, I want to stop it by Professor Rogue and see what he thinks. Good to see you. As your Pokedex coming along? Here, let me take a look. Progress you made in your Pokedex is 144 Pokemon seen and 66 owned. Ho ho, this is turning into quite the respectable Pokedex. And your national Pokedex is 201 seen and 81 owned. I'll be looking forward to seeing you fill the national Pokedex. With that out of the way, let's go through all the trainers we can rematch now. On Route 3, Colton will now have 2 level 51 Butterfree and a level 54 Beedrill. He's come a long way being an early game trainer with bug types. On Route 6, Ricky will have a level 55 Wartortle, and Jeff will have a level 54 Fearow Eradicate. On Route 9, Alicia will have a level 55 Persian, and Chris will have a level 54 Arcanine Charmeleon. On Route 10, Mark will have a level 54 Rhydon and Lickitung, and Herman will have a level 54 Marowak and Slowbro. Hey Jess, I've been waiting a long time now. If you win today, I'll marry you. Let's break up this couple! On Route 12, Gia and Jess will now have a level 55 Nidoking and Nidoqueen. On Route 13, Susie will have a level 52 Pidgeot, 2 Persians, Eradicate, and a Raichu. On Route 15, Becky will have 2 level 54 Raichu, and Ron and Mia will have a level 56 Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee, both with black belts. On Route 20, Darren will have 4 level 52 Seadras, and Missy will have 2 level 54 Seekings. Lotso grows to level 60! On Route 21, Lil and Ian will have a level 55 Seadra and Starmie. On Route 24, Timmy will have a level 52 Raticate, Arbok, and Golbat. On Kindle Road, all rematchable trainers will have black belts on all of their Pokemon. Tanya will have a level 55 Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, making Kia will have a level 56 Machamp and Primeape, Hugh will have a level 55 Machoke and Machamp, Shay will have a level 55 Machoke and Machamp 2, and Sharon will have 2 level 55 Primates. On the Water Labyrinth, Elise will have a level 53 Pikachu, Clefairy, and Marill. At Resort Gorgeous, Reina will have a level 54 Smeargle, and Destin will have a level 53 Eradicate and Pidgeot. Mithridates grows to level 60. All of the Bird Brothers will have new Pokemon. Milo will have level 53 Pidgeotto and level 55 Pidgeot. Chaz will have level 53 Fearow and a level 55 Fearow. And Harold will have a level 53 Noctowl and a level 55 Noctowl. On the Water Path, Earl will have level 54 Onix and Machamp, and Samir will have level 55 Gyarados. On the Green Path, Jacqueline will have a level 52 Natu and Slowbro and a level 54 Kadabra. One of her eggs hatched! Eevee hatched from the egg. I'm naming you after your father. Frank II. Are you heading through the island up past here? I didn't see anything interesting there. That is sadly relevant to the state of Altering Cave. But this is Nicole and she has a level 54 Marill. In Ruin Valley, Hector has a level 55 Rhydon Kangaskhan, and Larry has 2 level 54 Machokes. Triton grows level 60. And our second egg hatched. I am also naming you after your father, but in a different way. Crank. Lina grows level 60. At Trainer Tower, Dario will have a level 56 Girafarig, and Rodette will have a level 53 Natu into Hypnose. Charlie grows level 60. At the Canyon entrance, Mason will have 2 level 52 Electrodes and 2 Pinecos of the same level. Nicholas will have 2 level 55 Victory Bells, and Madeline will have 2 level 55 Vileplumes. And Hexus grows to level 60. Our full team's in the 60s now. In Seville Canyon, Lex and Neo will have a level 57 Tauros and Miltank. Evan will have a level 52 Sandslash and Lickitung, and a level 55 Ursaring. Jackson will have a level 53 Tangela, level 54 Exeggutor, and a level 55 Exeggutor, while Caitlyn has a level 56 Chansey. Cindy will have a level 54 Primate Hitmontop in the Champ, all with a black belt. Cindy will have a level 54 Primate Hitmontop in the Champ, all of which hold a black belt. And our final 2 trainers, Leroy will have a level 52 Rhydon, Machamp, and Kangaskhan, a level 54 Slowbro, and a level 55 Ursaring, while Michelle will have a level 53 Persian and Dugong, a level 54 Ninetales and Rapidash, and a level 56 Girafarig. After all that training, Charlie, Mithridates, and Triton are at level 61, while everyone else is at level 60. I brought CeeLo here to Seville Canyon so we could finally get this item I accidentally went by. Gonna get off the bike. I think I fucked up here. Does it reset if I go off screen then return? Okay, it does. I don't think I'm supposed to get her to step out and then go in. Okay, let's push that there. Oh, never mind. I'm just dumb. Holy crap. Yeah, all I have to do is push that boulder down, break the rock, and then push a second boulder to the right. For some reason I thought I had screwed up when I hadn't screwed up at all. Anyway, push that down. Yeah, rock smash. And we can finally get the King's Rock. Now that that headache's out of the way and I can sleep at night knowing I didn't miss it now, let's go back to 4 Island. Ah, it's you! We were raising your Pokemon, but goodness were we surprised your Pokemon had an egg. Come back when you've made room. Ah, it's you! We were raising your Pokemon, but goodness were we surprised. Can receive the egg from the daycare man. Take good care of it. Your Genghis and Frank are doing fine. The two don't seem to like each other very much. Based on what we've seen, I might beg to differ. But I guess we'll keep the other egg in our party for now. Actually, let's also take them out of storage. Genghis has grown by 10 and Frank by level 9. Costs 1100. We can release Genghis from his service and also get Frank back. Fine, come again. Now the reason I wanted to come here, not only to check up on them, was because I want to talk about egg moves and egg groups. We've encountered a lot of new Pokemon since we were last on 4 Island, and I want to go over their egg groups. In the Water 1 group, we have Mantine, in Water 1 plus Water 2 Remoraid, Water 1 plus Field Delibird, Pure Water 2 Quillfish. In Bug, Ladybus, Spinarak, Yama, and Heracross. In Flying, Natu, Murkrow, and Skarmory. In Flying plus Fairy, Togepi. In Field, Sentret, Sneasel, Swinub, and Fampy. In Fairy plus Grass, Hoppip. In Amorphous, Misdreavus, and Wobbuffet. And in No Eggs Discovered, Unknown, Mewtwo, Ho-Oh, Lugia, and Deoxys. For egg moves, I'm going to display them on the screen right here as part of the spreadsheet I showed you the last time we were here. Also, see if there's anything we can get. Probably good for max repels. Good for unrevised for now. We could save that money for full restores later on. Although actually, let's get some more. Why not? Well, we're at 80 now. That's probably more than we'll ever need, but we'll see. With all the egg groups gone over, I'm now going to go catch some wild Pokemon that we're going to use to complete all in-game trades because I want to show them off. For trades, off-screen, I went around the world and caught some new Pokemon we'll need for the trades. I also caught some Pokemon we'll be keeping just for the Pokedex completion's sake. Allow me to introduce you to Polly the Poliwag, Whirlwill the Poliwhirl, Saturn the Scyther, Elector the Electabuzz, Omelette the Chansey, I finally caught it, Smog the Dratini, I also finally caught it, and Napalm the Ponyta. Those are the new Pokemon we'll be keeping permanently, and I also caught some ones we're just going to use as sacrifices for trades. I also caught an Execute in the Safari Zone I didn't mean to catch, so with it, I'm going to show what happens when you release a Pokemon. Execute is released. Bye-bye, Execute! They just vanish and it's like they never existed. Kinda disturbing when you think about it like that. Anyway, let's reorganize our party and see all the trades we can do now. Hi, do you have a Spearow? Want to trade it for my Farfetch'd? Spearow will be sent to Alyssa. Bye-bye, Spearow. Alyssa sent over Chiding. That's certainly a name, I guess. Take good care of Chiding. Thank you. Chiding will be holding a stick. On Route 11, I'm looking for the Pokemon Nidorino. Want to trade one for my Nidorina? Nidorino will be sent to Turner. Turner sent over Nina. Take good care of Nina. Nina does not hold an item. In LeafGreen, this will be a Nidorino named Nino. On Route 18, we have the Lickitung trade. I'm looking for the Pokemon Golduck. Want to trade one for my Lickitung? Golduck will be sent to Hayden. Oh, hi, Mark. Hi, do you have a Venonat? Want to trade for my Tangela? Venonat will be sent to Norma. Norma sent over Tangany. Take good care of Tangany. Thanks, you're a pal. Tangany is gonna hold a Stardust. You definitely want to make that trade, if only for that. Eevee can evolve into one of 3 kinds of Pokemon. Well, we know better now. Looking for the Pokemon Ponytail. Want to trade it for my Seal? Ponytail will be sent to Garrett. Garrett sent over Sealor. Hey, thanks. Sealor does not hold an item. Now, there's also the guy who will trade Electrode for Raichu, and I realized I left the Thunderstones in our PC before I got here, so let me just go grab one real quick. Thunderstone, use on Pikachu. What Pikachu is evolving? Congratulations, your Pikachu evolves into Raichu. Now let's trade it. Hello there, do you happen to have a Raichu? Would you agree to trade for my Electrode? Let's get a second one. Raichu will be sent to Clifton. Bye-bye, Raichu. Clifton sent over a Sphere. Or is it like it's supposed to be a sphere, like he sent over a sphere and it's spherical? I'm probably overthinking it. I'm looking for the Pokemon Abra. Want to trade one for my Mr. Mime? Abra will be sent to Riley. I think it's pronounced Riley. I'm sorry if it's actually pronounced Riley. Riley sent over Mimian. Take good care of Mimian. Hey, thanks. Hello there, do you happen to have a Poliwhirl? Would you agree to trade for my Jinx? Indeed I will! Poliwhirl will be sent to Dante. Bye-bye, Poliwhirl! Dante sent over Zinks. No, she won't be holding a Zink or multiple Zinks. Take good care of Zinks. Thanks. She will be holding a letter, though. That's a healthy Jinx. Be kind to it, from Dante. It's a nice way to incorporate mail into single player. With all trades done, I'm going to head to Celadon City to get another Thunderstone for a reason we'll see. Is it just me, or do these things kind of look like weird sleepy monsters or something like that? I just found out you have to remove the mail before you put Zinks in your box too, and it just gets sent to your PC. Which means you can read the letter from Dante in it. It's not a feature I've ever really used in my personal playthrough, so it's cool to see it here. The reason I wanted to get the evolutionary stones is because I want to evolve all the Pokemon we caught along the way that we can. They've earned it. Leaf Stone was used on Todd. What? Todd is evolving. Congratulations, your Todd evolved into Vileplume. Let's also use the Leaf Stone on Egberts. What? Egberts is evolving. Congratulations, your Egberts evolved into Exeggutor. Nothing else you can use a Leaf Stone on, so let's move on to Moonstone. What? Creeps is evolving. Congratulations, your Creeps evolved into Wigglytuff. another one on G-Clef. Congratulations, your G-Clef evolved into Clefable. And Mithridata. Or Mithridata. Yeah, I think I'll go with Mithridata. Congratulations, your Mithridata evolved into Nidoqueen. And also, Thunderstone. Jerry. What? Jerry's evolving. Congratulations, your Jerry evolved into Raichu. What? Nina's evolving. Congratulations, your Nina evolved into Nidoqueen. Waterstone. First, Frank II. What? Frank II is evolving. Congratulations, your Frank II evolved into Vaporeon. Also use another Waterstone on Whirlwill. What? Whirlwill is evolving. Congratulations, your Whirlwill evolved into Poliwrath. And finally, last but not least, Crank. What? Crank is evolving. Congratulations, your Crank evolved into Flareon. I want to know what our Pokedex is looking like. 87 Kanto Pokemon owned, 102 National owned. We've seen 147 Kanto Pokemon owned, 204 National. So that's only 3 Kanto Pokemon we have not seen. I'd say we actually made really good progress in it. With all those Pokemon evolved, we're gonna go back to Seven Island. The area at the very end of Savalt Canyon with Leroy and Michelle is an excellent spot to train up your Pokemon, and it's where I'm going to be grinding for our final confrontation with the Elite Four. Let's head over there. After grinding in Savalt Canyon, everyone's leveled up to level 65. I think that's a good level to be at to challenge the Elite Four again. So let's go over the last few topics I want to cover. When I first covered EVs, I mentioned that defeating Pokemon will give you a certain amount of EVs in each stat. This is predetermined by which Pokemon you are fighting. I've compiled another spreadsheet of every EV yield that you can get from every single Pokemon you can fight in FireRed and LeafGreen. I'm going to display them on screen here so you know exactly what kinds of Pokemon you can fight to train up your Pokemon in given stats. I will reiterate that in the Trainer Tower you don't get EVs either, so unfortunately you can't grind that way, but any Pokemon that is used by a trainer is fair game. And on the subject of EV training, let's talk about an incredibly rare event throughout the Pokemon series, the Pokerus. The Pokerus is a beneficial virus that doubles EV growth, but it's incredibly rare. If you fight a Pokemon that gives you 1 HP EV, a Pokemon that has the Pokerus will get 2 HP EVs. And similarly, if you usually get 3 attack EVs, that Pokemon will get 6 attack EVs. Vitamin EVs, however, won't be boosted. There is a special Pokerus status label that will be given to a Pokemon that has it, and the Poke Center will tell you, your Pokemon may be infected with Pokerus. Little is known about the Pokerus except that they are microscopic life forms that attach to Pokemon. While infected, Pokemon are said to grow exceptionally well. After any battle, the Pokerus can spread from the Pokemon that had it first to others. It eventually will be fought off, but you'll keep the double EV so there's no practical difference. There will also be a dot in the bottom right-hand corner of the info screen once it's cured, and I have to wonder how that was even noticed in the first place. Someone was very dedicated to studying it, that's for sure. There is a catch though, the Pokerus actually can't be developed or cured in FireRed and LeafGreen since it's time-based and there's no internal clock in these games. The only way to get it is to trade a Pokemon with Pokerus over from Ruby, Sapphire, or Emerald. And it also won't even transfer to other Pokemon or be cured, so it's essentially only good for trading those specific Pokemon that have it. Now, if you're playing a game that you can't get the Pokerus in, how do you get it? Well, it's one of the rarest events in the game, and we've already seen a ton of rare events with stupidly complex mechanics. The odds of any given Pokemon developing the Pokerus after any given battle is 3 out of 65,536, or a 0.0046% chance. I know it sounds like I'm making that up, but it's something that's in these games, and yeah, it sounds like a playground rumor, but it's real. So if you get it, consider yourself lucky. Now, the other thing I want to mention are stages. Stages are a hidden mechanic that determines by how much stats, accuracy, and evasion change in battle. When you enter a battle, all your Pokemon stats will be started at stage 0, where there's no change to any value. However, if you use abilities such as Intimidate, you can raise or lower the enemy's stats or your own. These stats can be increased to stage 6 or lowered to stage -6. Each stage has a multiplier assigned to it, and when a stat is raised to that stage, the stat is multiplied by, well, the multiplier. For stage 1, the value is multiplied by 1.5, stage 2, 2, stage 3, 2.5, stage 4, 3, stage 5, 3.5, and max at stage 6 is times 4. For stage -1, so a decrease, it'll be multiplied by 0.67, for -2, 0.5, for -3, 0.4, for -4, 0.33, for -5, 0.28, and -6, 0.25, so a quarter of what it usually is. The stages actually work a little differently for accuracy and evasion. There are still stages from -6 to 6, but the accuracy and evasion stages are combined. First, your accuracy stage is determined, and then the enemy's evasion stage is subtracted from your accuracy to determine a final stage. Each stage is assigned a modifier, which the base odds of a move succeeding are then multiplied by. So in this case, if stage 1 is a result, the odds of the move landing will be multiplied by 1.33. For Stage 2, 1.66, Stage 3, 2, Stage 4, 2.5, Stage 5, 2.66, and Stage 6, 3. For Stage -1, it's 0.75, Stage -2, 0.6, Stage -3, 0.5, Stage -4, 0.43, Stage -5, 0.36, and Stage -6, 0.33. So at the lowest stage, there's only a 1 in 3 chance that the attack will hit. That's all I wanted to talk about for EVs and stages. But there's something a little amiss. We have seen almost every Pokemon from Gen 1. However, there are 151 Pokemon this generation. And our Dex for Kanto only goes up to 150. I also have done bios for 150 Kanto Pokemon. So, where is the last Pokemon? Let's talk about it. First, let's go back to Vermilion City. You may remember when we boarded the SS Anne, there was a small dock we could walk across to board the ship. We have Surf now that we've come back after all this time, so hypothetically speaking, what would happen if we had walked out onto the dock and used Surf? Well, there's a trick we can use to find out. We're going to use cheat codes again. There is a cheat code that will allow you to instantly warp to any area in the game. The code you have to input first is 82031DBC. After that, you have to insert a special 4-digit code assigned to specific areas to go there. For the area we want to go to, the SS Anne's dock, we want to then input 0401. I've tested this out myself and it has worked for me, but as with any other cheat codes, again, I'd recommend saving, making a save state, and also be very careful as this can potentially corrupt your data. I would be very careful if I were testing this out on your end, so again, be very careful when attempting this. Okay, so for the abrupt cut, I accidentally typed in the cheat code in the spot where you're supposed to enter the title, and I was really confused as to why it wasn't working, and then I realized I put it in the wrong box. Okay, so now that we actually have the cheat code activated, let's enter a door. You can finally come back to the SS Anne after all this time. Going through the door just puts you back here since you have the cheat activated, but we can also surf. There's just this area that you can usually not access, but it's here alright. Wild Tentacle appeared. I'm actually going to catch this Tentacle because there's something I want to try out. You're usually not able to catch Pokemon here, so I want to see what the location data for a Pokemon caught in the SS Anne dock will be. This is technically a sequence break. Give it the game to capture Tentacool. 10. We'll have to check 10's info when we go back to the Poké Center. But there's just this area we can explore, and it's there for you to go around even though, like I said, you usually can't access it. But that's enough for the left. Let's see what's over to the right. Because this is where things get really interesting. Let's surf all the way down. There's actually a hidden platform here. This area is not accessible in the base game. You have to sequence break the game to get here. To legitimately see it, you have to beat Koga, then trade in a Pokemon that knows Surf, all before getting to the SS Anne. So this is in the game for some reason. It was also here in red and blue and was kept for FireRed and LeafGreen. Now, I'm going to use the item finder here. No response, because if you go to the bottom, there's a hidden item here. Around here, we can get a lava cookie. So in this area, you have to sequence break the game to get. There's a perfectly usable item. Lava Ridge Town's local specialty. It heals all the status problems of one Pokemon. Lava Ridge Town is a town in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Why this is here? Well, there's an idea of why, but before we get to that, let's go to the top end. This is a unique truck sprite. The purpose of this has never been determined. This was here in Red and Blue, and in those games, there were very few unique sprites that were used solely for decorating the world. So when people discovered it, it baffled tons of people, and rumors started spreading of what the truck could be for because it serves no purpose. You can't interact with it, you can't push it or move it or anything. It's here, and it was changed to fit the art style of FireRed and LeafGreen. And to this day, it remains a complete mystery as to what the original intent was. And it wasn't even visible when you first boarded the SSN in Red and Blue either, if that's what you were wondering. You, again, had to sequence break the game to see it. And its purpose has never been determined. In Red and Blue, you also could get cut on the SSN, then lose a battle, so you're sent to the Pokemon Center without the SSN leaving, and then come here. But this method was removed in FireRed and LeafGreen. Or you could just trade in a Pokemon with cut, skip the SSN, and then come back or something like that. Or you could just trade in a Pokemon with cut, beat Lieutenant Surge, then beat Koga and come back with Surf to get it, normally while playing the SSN. But the reason I bring you here on the subject of the last Pokemon is because this truck is home to one of the most famous urban legends in gaming history. This legend was that if you use strength on this truck, you could push it aside and find the very last Pokemon beneath it. And it seemed perfectly believable. After all, why else would they put this unique sprite here? But sadly, this wasn't the case, and it was one of the last few playground rumors that was spread from before kids really had widespread access to the internet. So, it's a relic of somewhat of a bygone era, and I wanted to pay tribute to it. And I can't think of a better place to discuss this final Pokemon than by the truck that became so popular. So, here's our final bio. Allow me to introduce you to the final Gen 1 Pokemon, Pokemon number 151, Mew. The Pokemon discovered in South America and brought to Cinnabar Island for experiments. Mew is the most elusive Pokemon in Gen 1, and probably the entire series. Pokemon Red and Blue were actually only the first games in English. In Japan, the first versions were called Red and Green, and two updated versions were later released, Blue and Yellow. This version of Blue is often called the Japanese Blue, and contained many updates to the code and gameplay that fixed many issues of the original releases, and was later the basis for the English releases of Red and Blue. The Japanese versions of Red and Green are thus the very first games in the series, even if they are now widely seen as prototypes for the Japanese Blue, which is considered the definitive version of Gen 1, and for good reason. Now let's talk about a developer who's been working at Game Freak since Red and Green's release in 1996, all the way to the present, and has even directed several games in the series. This developer is Shigeki Morimoto, who also helped develop the battle system. He has a very wide portfolio. According to Morimoto, when they finished debugging Red and Green, there were only 300 bytes left on the cartridge. At this point, the other 150 Pokemon had been completed and loaded into the game. Morimoto was told not to add anything else to the game's code because it could cause unforeseen errors. I'm glad to report that Morimoto did not listen. 2 weeks before the game finished development, he secretly added 151st Pokemon as a joke. This Pokemon was Mew. When Red and Green were released, nobody knew that Mew was in the game. Nobody at Game Freak knew, nobody at Nintendo knew either. In fact, players didn't. Despite being in the code, there was no legitimate in-game way to find it. When Red and Green were data mined, Mew's existence was discovered. To set off a bomb of speculation and legendary urban legends, there's no better way to describe it. Mew is a firestorm, the subject of rumors around the world. The late 90s and early 2000s saw what was called Pokemania when the franchise first took the world by storm, and Mew only fueled the flames. Children around the world spread playground rumors about how Mew, through some of the most obscure, oddly specific methods you could think of, could be found within the game. Of course, the most famous of this was moving the truck in the SS Anne's Harbor. But there was no official word on Mew or how to obtain it. Until April 1996, when in that month's edition of CoroCoro magazine in Japan, Mew was officially announced and acknowledged by Game Freak for the first time, followed by a contest called the Legendary Pokemon Offer, where upon entering, 20 randomly selected winners could mail in their cartridge to Game Freak, who would then install Mew directly into their game. Other events like this were held in Japan and other countries as well, but these events were quite rare, happening only in certain regions every few years. And even if an event happened near you, it was difficult to obtain because there was pretty much always a contest involved. Most events were held at Toys R Us, and in order to get Mew, you had to bring your cartridge. There was only one Mew event ever held in the United States for 3 hours on one day. You had to be at Toys R Us from 12 to 3 p.m. on September 30th, 2006. If you didn't get your Mew by 3 p.m., even if you were still in line, tough luck, you were screwed out of it. Another was released at Toys R Us stores in Europe throughout August 2007, which is thankfully a much more merciful time frame. Only a handful of other Mew events were ever held, and there's just too many to go over in detail. Bulbapedia has lists compiling every distribution event in the franchise's history from Gen 1 to Gen 9, the current generation. If you want to learn more about any of these events, I highly recommend checking out their lists. But my ultimate point is Mew is never legitimately available via in-game methods in Red, Green, Blue, Yellow, FireRed, or LeafGreen. It was added as a prank by Morimoto at the last second and turned into one of the most famous urban legends in gaming history. Now let's finally talk about Mew's stats and viability. Mew has a base value of 100 for all stats. It gets Pound at level 1, Transform at level 10, which is Ditto's signature move, followed by Mega Punch, Metronome, Psychic, and Ancient Power. Mew can also learn every teachable move in the game. It can learn every move tutor, HM, and TM. I don't need to explain much further, but this is a fantastic ability. Mew's a good Pokemon, but there's hardly even a point in going over it viability-wise. I can't speak from experience, but, I mean, come on. They wouldn't make Mew so rare if it wasn't good. If somehow, by some absolute miracle, you get your hands on a copy of FireRed or LeafGreen that legitimately had Mew installed, use it on your team, if only for bragging rights and the ability to say you beat it with Mew as a main team member. And that's also our final bio for Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen. I can't think of a better Pokemon to end it on. I've disabled the cheat letting us get to the docks, because I want to see what happens if you could... You can reboard the SS Anne! It's nice to be back, even if it's not in a legitimate way. But it's worth it, because it's the SS Anne. Let's leave again. Now we do have a way to get back on it, even if it does involve breaking the game. Although that's everything I wanted to cover really before the endgame. No, Lotso doesn't have Fly, I don't know what I was thinking there. Let's go back to Indigo Plateau. It's been a long time coming, but our true final challenge awaits. We've trained up our Pokemon well, and it's time for our final battle to become an even greater Pokemon champion than we already were. Next time on Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen, we challenge the Pokemon League again. See you guys next time.